Again, here's my problem, as I've indicated that he looks nothing like the current Emperor. But if he looks like the former Emperor, does that imply that the actual Emperor is not the one who's related? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with some more Apothecary Diaries. Now, I gotta admit, it's been a little while since the last time I recorded an episode. Due to health reasons, I kind of fell behind by a week, and then I started this whole catch-up plan to catch up with the shows that were going to start falling behind. And Apothecary Diaries wasn't falling behind as hard as some of the other shows. So, anyway, if something doesn't appear to be on the forefront of my mind the same way that it was last recording, that is my excuse. And all I can do is make excuses, so I'm sorry. That said, we come back with the things that we normally do, which is to say notes and a board. This time we even have a comment. So, let's go ahead and do with the normal and hop into the board, where we have our usual board changelog, where I connected Lu Men to Jinshi with a green line. I connected Shen Lu to Suri with a green line. Evidently I hadn't done it yet, so here we go. I connected Shisui to Suri with a blue line. As you know, apparently they're either related or she's using, kind of the familiar terminology. And I added Q and connected him to Maomao with a white line, and Shisu and Suri with a green line. Alright then, well, on to notes. The problem with taking notes about the first half of this episode is that we know what happened to Maomao. So it's more of an experiential thing, seeing how the others put together the pieces of what happened and speak their thoughts on it. Like suggesting Maomao would be able to take at least one person in a group down should they come after her. I mean, I disagree, I guess. After all, she did get kidnapped at the start of the whole story, and at no point was it ever implied that she fought back, or any of these guys got hurt. Either way, it was good to see them have to do the work that we tend to see Maomao do. I'll be honest, my first thought was to Detective Conan. Sometimes at the start of the episode, you see what happened, and then you have to watch Detective Conan, or, sorry, I know that's like the English name, because I watched, sorry, now I can't remember if it's Case Closed in America, or if it's Detective Conan in America. I think it's Detective Conan in America, because it would have to be. Because he's what, Conan Edogawa? In English dub. And it's Case Closed, I guess everywhere else, and I don't know what his name is there. I know it's different, though. Anyway, that was the thought that was in my head. I had watched maybe 20, 30 episodes of Case Closed. I wanted to do it on the channel at some point. I just don't know how I would do it, because I would need to pause, and I'm not a pause reactor, so I don't know. It's still quite odd that Lu Men praised Lacan for just getting the solution while jumping to conclusions without all of the proof that he drilled into Maomao to have to do before saying anything, especially when he seems to practice the very same thing himself. Maybe he has more faith in his nephew? I don't know. I don't know about Lu Men's attitude. I mean, I get it. No need to get anxious about things you can change, nor the things you can't. It's just, when expressed about a loved one, it's a bit more difficult to stomach. I appreciate the bite back at Jinshi about the state of affairs in which Maomao was able to be kidnapped in the first place. I don't know, though. I just would have preferred a Lu Men who was a bit more proactive in his concern. I mean, he did go out to find the cat that led to a clue. He could have done more. They didn't lean into his disability as a reason for him not trying anything else. The only thing I can think of is my old conspiracy notes that Lu Men is involved in something greater. And in this instance, he already has enough clues to know what's going on, and doesn't suspect she's in danger. I mean, as per my conspiracy, he might not know the clues or whatever. But anyway, I believe that's why he doesn't push the matter any further if he does have those clues. Pretty galling to know that Jinshi, whose job it was to know what was going on with the girls and the concubines of the rear palace, had a servant in his midst that he had never heard of. Again, I'm assuming because she didn't, and that I'm right that Sushui is Lulan, though at the same time, doubt is creeping in, given that this is a hell of a journey to be taking without any notice, by which I mean Lulan being missing. But then again, if I'm right, she has a stand-in for her in the form of one of her other servant girls, because they all look the same. I wonder why they let Maomao keep the hairpin Jinshi gave her. It seems to me that the indication was that it was fairly recognizable. I mean, if Surei was targeting Jinshi long enough, then she would have recognized that it was the one Jinshi was wearing all the way back before the garden party. That said, maybe they let her keep it because it was recognizable? If that were the case, then it could imply the value of their target in the eyes of whoever they are bringing her to. To what end, though? Yet to be seen. So they left the rear palace by a secret passage on the north side, then went to a port. Maomao thinks that they sail north as well, which should put them in Shishu's territory. Maomao is, of course, confused as to why it's so warm and humid, which I believe was indicated before that the North can have, as per the previous assassination arc, that little, sorry, I can't recall. I want to say tourist area. It wasn't a tourist area. Recreation area? The place they went when Jinshi almost got shot. However, we do later see evidence that either they are in the West or a place of people pretending to be from the West. All of the envoy Maomao spots in the crowd. Maomao brings up the cat having come in through the northern passage, but I wonder if that frog we saw earlier on was an additional hint that we were meant to put together as having been in the same area, and thus the possibility of having come from the same source. Because I'll say, my mind was deep on tracing the waterways for something nefarious at the time, and an couldn't say the word. An amphibious frog wouldn't have sparked any suspicions about a passageway. I would just be thinking the frog came from the waterway or something like that. So if Shusui is Lulan, again, still only a suspicion of mine with only circumstantial evidence, and Shusui and Suri are sisters, that would make Suri's adopted father Shisu, which would be great for pointing the finger of the assassination plot to him. And by that, I was actually thinking of the first season's one, but obviously this would also possibly apply to second seasons. I think, as per the Lacan discussion that we had before, when Lacan met with Shusui, and I was like, ooh, maybe it's him. The only loose end in that, to me, is that I believe it was said that Suri's adopted father was a doctor, and I don't think we have any evidence that Shishu is a doctor. Unless this is just such a complicated plot that one of his minions, who was a doctor, adopted her. But then why would she be Shusui's sister? Unless Shusui has a son, and that's the adopted father. I just made that person up, but only because they are so young and Shusui is so old that I don't think it would be impossible for there to be a generation in between. Anyways, something I'll be paying close-ish attention to. Obviously, paying more attention to the whole Lulan Shishu thing. If that was the envoy, it would be Ayla, as her head beads were red. Ayla also had a connection to Shishu, so... my final note here. Kiyu says big sis, but I don't know if he means that in the friendly stranger way. And I know I'm about to give an example that's not friendly stranger way, or at least it's never taken that way. Like calling an older woman auntie when they aren't related to you. Or if he literally means big sis. because as per the board, I did not label them as related, but of course, that could change this episode. As I indicated, we do have a comment, Sarah Linda from the Patreon from the episode The Baths. Binging through your reactions to this show has been a study in frustration, lol. Well, actually, that's already disappointing. I will say it's been forever since we've had a comment to the show. So, essentially, all of my theories have gone undisputed and have only served to reinforce themselves. I wanted to point out things even though I knew you had to have them figured out by now. First, you kept attributing acts of the Empress, dead mother to the previous emperor, and grandmother to the current emperor, to Lady Anshi, who did not order Lumen to become a eunuch or his leg broken. The Empress did all those things, since she was the one ruling the nation through her son. The pathetic, likely abused to the point of freaking out around grown women, previous emperor. You kept attributing the acts to the Empress. The problem is if they said Empress. Sorry, the problem is also that I can't remember the things that I'm being accused of getting wrong. I believe that it was Anshi that did it only because, well, two things. One, she is the Empress Dowager, implying that at one point she was the Empress herself. So why would I think that it was the other woman who did it when she has only appeared essentially in one episode of backstory stuff? Whereas Anshi was present for Lumen. Because again, Anshi did it after she gave birth and Adu gave birth, and he seemed to have fucked everything up. Sorry, I'm talking about his leg being broken, not the becoming eunuch. Well, technically, for becoming a eunuch too, because that was just the standard of the time. Anshi only changes it later at some point, I imagine. Again, the problem herein is that I think we get told that the Empress did it. Anshi is the Empress Dowager. She becomes the Empress Dowager after the Emperor's death. So when the Emperor's alive, she is the Empress. I don't know. I feel like that is very much. If I'm wrong, it's very easy to misconstrue. If I'm right, I guess my problem now is that the fear that you know, and you're telling me things that you know from fact and not based on what I'm saying. It's a problem with comment response. You've already experienced my wariness when it comes to this because you know from another show that I am super wary for spoilers, especially a show that I'm currently in, but that's the way this works. Titles for women: Empress Consort for the wife of the Emperor, Empress for a woman who inherited the throne on her own, Empress Dowager for the wife of the now dead Emperor. The Empress is called that as sarcasm, since she was not even the official consort/wife of the last Emperor, just a lady-in-waiting who caught his eye and had a son. She wasn't of very noble birth, and there were several older boys in line before her son. Circumstances made it so she could seize power, but she was never really an empress, not even a dowager empress. I guess if you've been listening to me read your comment, you're like, get to the fucking next paragraph. I'll answer it all in the next paragraph. Jesus. Empress Consort for the wife of the Emperor. So, Lady Anshi would have been Empress Consort to Empress Dowager. And you're saying that the grandmother would have been Empress, and you just described what happened with her. But the problem is it was like one episode. I do not, even through my, God, if you could see how many notes I have over here on my other screen, even with all my notes, I don't think I got anything on her other than what shows up on the board where I just established the relationships of these people. I'm going to stick to what I said previously about Lady Anshi. I guess she is Lady Anshi, but I'm just used to saying Anshi at this point. The fact that she went from Empress to Empress, and also that there was a point. I guess there might not have been a point. I was going to say there would have been a point where she might have been in control, but the element is that she had a son already. So I guess it just went straight to him, and she just went from Empress Consort to Empress Dowager, and never a point in between was ever control. Alright, well, whatever, I'll take it into consideration with future thoughts. Now, you still haven't got the timeline quite right regarding everyone's ages and what that means when it comes to Jinshi. More than a year has gone by since the show started. It was spring when she was kidnapped, winter when she got fired, spring again when season 2 started, and now it's late summer. Maomao has to be 18/19 at this point, and Jinshi is probably 21-ish. He has to be one of the babies, Adu's or Lady Anshi's, but either way, he is the crown prince until a true born or acknowledged son is born to the emperor. I disagree with you still. As you've pointed out, spring again when season 2 started, the 2-year differential that I keep mentioning is mentioned at the end of season 1. So you're indicating that, let's see, spring, winter, spring. Yeah, you're indicating that a year passed by the beginning of season 2, where I was indicating that there was a 2-year difference. So that's still a year off. This might not seem like a lot to you, and you might not care about Gundam, but Witch from Mercury, this is a whole thing that I did with Witch from Mercury, where I was like, is this one character, I'm trying not to spoil now that I've thought about it out loud, is this one character, this other character that we're being presented with, because if they are, they should be like 3 or 4 years older than that what they were. And after like, I don't know, 12, 14, 16, I don't remember how many episodes, I got proven right. Because such a small difference in time can prove everything. And again, you're only indicating that 1 year has passed, and that's why my time is off. But I'm saying that the wiggle room between things is 2 years, which means that cannot inherently prove me wrong unless I'm forgetting. Granted, I've started this whole recording by saying that it's been longer than normal between episode recordings, so if I'm forgetting and it wasn't actually 2 years, then whatever. This is me buffering myself in case I'm wrong again due to confidence. I'm never 100% confident. At best, I can get 50% confident, in which case, that's not really confidence. And again, what I said before, I don't know if you're telling me these things out of knowledge you have from finishing the show. So, if you're coming at this with absolute knowledge and I'm arguing against somebody who's like got everything behind them, then I'm just the fool. So, Kazugetsu is known by the court to be the emperor's brother, but rumors believe that he's the bastard son of Lady Anshi because of the age thing. She would only have been around 27 when she had him. By the way, since he's 16 years younger than the emperor, and she was only about 11 for the first pregnancy, yes, that's gross. Was that your point? Sorry, we all know pedophilia is fucking gross. We weren't all about that. We were all about it being gross back when it was on. So she is about 48 at this point, but looks young for her age because anime does that. He was kept away from the court when he was small and then started hiding his face so no one outside of a trusted few people knew what he looks like. The rumors say he might be mentally challenged because that's how rumors go. Beyond the bastard sons of Lady Anshi, which again, not something that the show has said, so I don't know where that's coming from. Beyond that, I don't think that goes against anything that I've said. I mean, mainly your paragraph here is about how pedophilia is gross, and yes, of course, that dude was awful. But yeah. Again, I think my confusion when it comes to the Emperor's brother is the fact that that baby died, and I guess they kept it hidden, the death of the baby, because again, Jinshi is effectively, I don't know the word I'm looking for here, is faking himself. I mean, we did see in the episode where they brought him in, and I think that's when I assumed that he is Adu's kid. Well, I don't assume that. I think that's pretty given. He's Adu's kid that Anshi brings in to pretend to be the Emperor's brother, when in fact he is the Emperor's son. Again, if I don't have all my paragraphs in front of me, my mind starts melting out of my nose when I start saying this stuff out loud. But he is essentially pretending to be himself. But the question raised in my head is that there would be years where I guess he does hide. Sorry, I was about to say there would be years where the kid would never have been seen because the actual kid dies, and then Jinshi, after year 4 or 5, is brought in to pretend to be the Emperor's younger brother. But then they did mention that in one episode that Kazugetsu is known to be reclusive, so I guess the element of never being seen really wouldn't affect any of that. Jinshi is just some pretty-faced eunuch that the Emperor seems to favor. Again, the court likely thinks he's one of the Emperor's bed partners, that's what Maomao said, who has been given an important job. At the hunt, Jinshi wasn't there, the Crown Prince was. He was using a false name so that no outsiders could be certain who was behind that mask. Maybe the Crown Prince, or maybe somebody else pretending to be the Crown Prince, pulling a Padme with the decoy. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes when you tell me stuff in a note, I feel like you're indicating that I'm wrong about something, but that's what I was saying too. I mean, it was like, I may have said that was Jinshi, but that would mean that's because it is Jinshi. I think we all knew that he was pretending to be the Crown Prince, but my confusion lies in the fact of the thing that I just said before about how the Crown Prince is actually a dead baby. And there would have been years where he was missing, but we already just covered that a moment ago. And I have referenced the Padme decoy thing so many times already with my Shusui is Mulan theory. Someone clearly believed he was the real Crown Prince to take a shot at him. I mean, that didn't require anything. If the dude is being recognized as the Crown Prince to a royal court, then yeah. Also, not for nothing, this is a show where we have a main character who is a poison tester. People are just expected to be, to be taken a shot at all the time. How many people have died in the first season from people coming after them for no reason, or just even fucking mistakes? I don't even think it's that big of a deal at this point that someone took a shot at the Crown Prince, even if it was fake. I don't know. Anyway, that was the comment. So I don't think there's anything left here but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, had that turned up way too high right from the get-go. Again, the fact that I have to talk over it, I just turn it all the way down anyway. I must have been doing video. I was doing video editing. I just got done video editing. I don't want to keep saying video editing. Video editing. I just got done editing the Unlimited Blade Works video for YouTube. That's probably why I had turned up so high for the audio editing. Let's see, what are we at? Crap, I didn't keep track of how far into season 2 we are, because I can't remember. Is this the second opening or the first opening? Oh, this is the second opening, now I remember. So I'm going to have to go back over this, say, next episode, which I might be recording tomorrow or the day after, to see how many clues that there were in the opening that I tried to guess, and if I have any future guesses about what the clues in the opening might be. I think more specifically, the thing I keep thinking about is the woman in the opening with the long finger things on her hand, because I would suspect that we're going to see her this episode. Also, there's the guy behind Lock-On is not the guy that we saw investigating the warehouse that was reporting the Lock-On before either. who I do have on the board, but has never made an appearance. Very confusing. Oh, right. Gyokyo was given birth. That's something that's never paid off, by the way. I suspected Lady Gyokyo of being up to no good from, like, what, episode 1 or 2? We're about to end season 2. Nothing suspicious has come from her.
今は落ち着いています。陣痛も収まり、疲弊もないご様子です。そうか。いつ生まれるかはまだはっきりしませんが。
Let's hope that both of them don't give birth at the same time.
心配ありません。マオマオの治療が功を奏したようです。マオマオ。
Even though she didn't make it here with the stuff? You know, the Moxaban or whatever it was, the stuff. She was carrying it here, but she never got here with it. You know, I always thought we were going to meet the quack doctor's sister. I thought the implication was that she was around here somewhere. I mean, he had she had conspirators back in the day. Any of them still here? I mean, I did bring up before. How did they sneak in without getting the unit test?
信心深いものならそれくらいするだろう。ですが。北側の墓地。はい。選定のお手つきになり、高級で最後を迎えた者たちの墓です。
We're never going to escape this storyline-wise. She's the daughter. Is she the daughter that was never able to leave from the ghost story stuff?
選定の時代に幼くして花を散らされた女たちは死後も高級を出ることが許されない。
Oh, I guess I just gotta confirm that one. Or is she the daughter of one of the girls who was never able to leave?
この花園で消えていく。
I guess she'd have to be the daughter because otherwise she'd be very old. You know, like her. Yeah, he did give her the alcohol.
Maomao はどこへ行った？落ち着け。今の俺は宦官の陣士だ。
Yeah, but you're in charge of a lot of shit. You have an official job, but you can be angry.
翡翠宮の次女について知りたいのだが、心当たりはないか？
Yeah. If she was there, she might know you.
何か知っているな。思い出しました。古い記憶を。
Oh no, that was... He looks like his father. Wait.
甘い異国の菓子をいただきました。
I guess that would make him Anshi's kid. Because I don't think there's any implication that the former emperor slept with Adu, is there? God damn it, I'm fucking brain.
誰のことだ。
あなたはよく似ている。
何の話をしている。
あの方もまた甘い蜂蜜のような声と。
Also, then Adu was able to leave.
どうしてあなたのような方が宦官のごとき真似をしているのですか。
Ooh, this is a problem.
取り押さえろ。
離して。
暴れるな。ジン様、どうします。
I don't know. You can let her live at this point. She knows. But never mind. She handled that problem on her own.
毒か。水を持ってこい。ジン様、ご指示を。
Problem is, Maomao would be the one who knows how to handle this. Which just be charcoal and vomiting?
この旅館を医局へ。同じ真似をしないよう見張っておけ。はっ。しっかりなさいませ。旅館の戯れなど気にしてどうします。戯れで毒を飲み干すか。笑いかけた俺の顔を見て青ざめていた。
あの方もまた。
ガオシュン、俺は
Again, here's my problem. As I've indicated that he looks nothing like the current emperor. But if he looks like the former emperor, does that imply that the actual emperor is not the one who's related?
母にも似ず、兄にも似なかった。だから信じた。
どなたに似たのかしら。帝の好みを考えたら皇后様のお年じゃねえ。だから言われてるんじゃない。不義の子って。
Yeah, I guess I'm just more thrown by this now. I think the information says Adu is the... I don't think there's any connection between Adu and the former emperor.
帝である兄に頼み込み、宦官の名を得て女の園にいるのは何のためか。滑稽というほかない。
And I guess in reality, I can't take his crying about Adu leaving to mean anything, because if he doesn't realize himself, then he's just an unreliable narrator in this.
今はやるべきことがある。あの女官、この墓に
I have to re-examine everything I've written down and everything I've put on the board.
ほおずきとは季節外れだな。大砲。去年亡くなった女官の名です。ああ、よく人を集めて怪談話をしていたな。
Is that a year? Oh no, sorry. She died before that episode, I forgot.
身内は大砲の血を引く者はただ一人。
I don't recognize that guy.
イカンとの密通により生まれた娘だ。その娘が生きていれば。
Shishu, I saw Shishu in that.
どちらへ？ザクロ級だ。
I think there's a lot that I might be right about.
大砲の仕えていた妃は後に師匠に下賜され娘を産んだ。その娘がローラン妃だ。そして大砲とイカンとの間にできた娘だが、
I am gonna rewatch this part so hard. I am desperately trying not to miss it, but I'm also desperately trying to connect all the things in my head. Synapses are going off so hard right now. I don't think it's really Lulan, though. I think that's Shusui, and she's gone. You're getting Padmade right now.
やれることはすべてやる。急に訪ねて申し訳ありません。
構いませんとのことです。
ありがとうございます。いつもながら奇妙な派手な格好にまなじりのつり上がった揃い。
Because any of them might have to stand in at a moment's notice.
本日は
Well, Fox Village, huh?
ジン様。
何を？
確か次女は7人いましたね。もう一人はどうしました？私は宮に仕える次女たちの名前と顔を把握しています。
She's a man of details.
あなたたちは毎日のように服や化粧が変わるので、わかりやすい部分で記憶していたんです。例えば唇の形や目の形、あとはそうほくろの位置、総理、いや連風かな。お前の名は。
I mean, granted, I didn't know any of their fucking names, but they never gave them to us.
最初から仕組んでいたな。大量の従者を連れ、自分とよく似た次女ばかり選んだのも、奇抜な格好や化粧をしていたのも、すべてこのためか。いえ、本物はどこへ行った？
Yeah, breaking character.
どこへ行った？
Ah, Jesus. Isn't herself.
連風は本当に何も知らないのです。もう。
Yeah, well, who the fuck does? One of you's gotta know something.
くそ、落ち着け。
It's weird. They're on the bad side, but obviously I feel bad for her.
はい、もう戻らないと言われました。
上級妃が自分の意志で高級を抜け出したということか。
I mean, proven right, though. I've been right this whole time. Granted, it wasn't on any, like, real information, which is bad for me, but whatever.
これ以上問い詰めても無駄か。総出で探していますが、ローラン妃らしき人物は見当たらないと。もう妃と呼ぶ必要はない。高級からの逃走は重罪だ。上級妃となればなお。
And now you can also tie it right up to her father.
承知の上で計画したのだろう。高官の娘を高級に入れるということは、帝にとっても利がある行為だ。人質として。
I think now's the time to bring Lock-On in.
師匠は娘を可愛がっていたように見えた。だが、実のところがどうだったのか。マオマオはどうだったんだろう。
I'm gonna have to heavily update
義女の足抜けのようだと。
the familial relationship chart, not the main relationship chart.
だが、それなら書き置きなど残さない。
God, this is a good episode. Told ya. Told you, this is the perfect time to bring Lock-On in. This is a bit over the top, though.
なぜバレた。
どこぞで外部に漏れたようです。
はあ、
それと現在師匠の足取りがつかめません。ローランと共謀していたのでしょうか。
I think Lockhart knows. I think Lockhart knows that
逃
aspect.
亡した妃の父親だ。帝にあだなす者として罪が及ぶことになる。
As for what's her name's family who poisoned the baby from season 1.
あと昨日の入管シェンリュですが命を取り留めたようです。
意識は
まだ戻っていません。ただ大砲と面識があった。
I mean, send Lume in over there. I think it would wake her up. I think it'd be him.
そのつながりかと。
診療所全員か。
いえ、他の者は謀反について何も知りませんでした。
Although I suspect many of them have been around long enough to have ideas about it.
皆がシェンリュと同じ恨みを持っていたからか。選定なき今、女たちの恨みが向かう先は高級そのものだ。今すぐローランを探さねば。だが情報が少なすぎる。
I mean, since they targeted you, they must know your connection.
それはもう別のものが。
And yeah, they didn't target the Emperor, ironically. Which maybe I'm right about the whole that's gonna be locked on.
入れ。
Maybe I'm right about the Emperor not actually being...
失礼いたします。
そろばん？
何用だ。
Oh, he's the guy from behind Lock-On in the opening.
初めてお目にかかります。カン・ラハンと申します。
外邸内でラの名を持つ者はラカンとラハン二人しかいない。古く皇族から与えられたあざなのはず。ラの一族、軍師殿の養子だな。何か用か？
Okay.
こちらをお見せしようと思いまして。
これは
どうでしょうか。
国庫の水筒帳だな。
はい。父上から調べろと言われたものです。
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like a lineage thing or something.
ないのが気持ち悪いようでして。
そこからなぜ国庫に？
処罰された官たちの周りを洗っていたら自然と実物を見ていただきたかったのですが量が少々膨大でして目につく範囲で抜粋しました。
ここ数年穀物の値が明らかに上がっているな。
面白いですよね。干ばつも公害もなかったのに。それからもう一つなぜか鉄の値も上がっているのです。国全体の金属の値も。
Don't remember how this applies to anything.
建造物でも作っているのでしょうか。調べたところそんな計画はどこにも見当たりませんでしたが。
抜け目のないところは洋服。
Build that village artificially? The hot springs,
言いた
rather?
いことは理解した。穀物自体は大した値ではないが、量が量だ。値上がりすれば差額は相当なものになる。その差額は誰かが横領している。そして金属の値上がり、こちらも何者かが大量に仕入れている。
Are there gonna be a lot of guns?
はい。私が思うに、この2つの行き着く先は同じです。そして、これほどのことができる人物も限られるでしょう。私なら、もっと詳しく調べ
I
る
mean, again, I think the fingers already point to Shishu.
流れがどこに集約しているのか、お知りになりたくないですか？
それで要求は何だ？利害なしに話を持ってきたわけではないのだ。
I'll be honest, I was more interested in seeing a Lock-On Jinshi
こち
team
ら
up.
の額、少し勉強していただけないでしょうか。
それを
父上が壊した高級の門の修繕費です。自業自得では。
分かった。
良いのですか？
その代わり徹底的に調べろ。金と鉄が流れ着いた先で何が起きようとしているのか。
It's crazy that he's the adopted son, considering that means that there's another family line out there that we might have to be worried about.
何でも使ってやる。
Yeah, festival's coming up, whatever that means too. Great episode. Great episode. I love episodes like this. However, and I apologize profusely, the active brain is not as good as the slower moving note taking brain. I wish that weren't the case, because obviously the main worry I always have is that once this recording ends, and then I come back with my notes, and everyone can just think, oh, well, obviously he just looked it up, or, he went on Reddit and saw what other people were thinking, or he watched somebody else's reactions. Like, no. I'm always... You remember when I was reading the comment, and I was like, every other paragraph, I'm like, oh, but do you already know? I'm trying to avoid spoilers. I'm that way all the time. I am constantly trying to keep my notes to my thoughts. So, again, I just have that worry that people are going to think that way. And I really want to be as smart when I'm not on screen as when I am. Though, people are going to say, yeah, smart at all. In which case, fair. But there was so much there, and I am trying to keep it in place of what I already know. Or think I know, as Sarah Linda would say. They changed her hairpin. Alright, I guess Kyo's in danger, and, what's her name? Ayla is going to be a threat of some sort. Again, what I was just saying, though, my problem is that they were going over a number of implications for the familial relations amongst Jinshi, who Jinshi's related to, that one woman that we had referenced a number of times now, who apparently had a daughter, which is what, not Shishu, Sure comes from as well. I guess I'm going to have to, not redo, but I'm going to have to do some work into putting that board up again. Again, not the main bit, but the bit on the left, where I have put down the character connections, or, familial connections. Hell, I might have to do a couple. The same way that we had in the early Season 1 stuff, where I had the what everyone thinks and what is really happening bit. I might have to do well, it could be like this, could be like this, could be like this, could be like this, a number of I'm not certain yet elements. Because as I was saying throughout the episode, well, what if this implies this? Well, if he looks like... One of my earliest things was the Emperor doesn't look like Jinshi. And now we have the element that Jinshi looks like the former Emperor, but if the Emperor doesn't look like Jinshi, and Jinshi looks like the former Emperor... Granted, this isn't one of those things where you have to look like the person who gave birth to you. It's not always like that. So her seeing him in Jinshi, I don't know if that means anything. And again, like I said before, that could be an element that Jinshi himself is an unreliable narrator, in which case, him having a little cry about Adu leaving, and back then us believing that Adu was actually his mother. That has been my prevailing sentiment right now, or up till now, that Adu was Jinshi's mother, and that he got switched. Or, god damn it, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if that was my prevailing thought either. Who got switched? The Empresses got switched, and Adu's got switched, which means that Adu was being raised by, not Adu's was being raised by the Empress, and that Adu was raising the Empresses who got killed by honey poisoning, then why was Jinshi brought in during that episode? Sorry, I have my eyes closed, so you know I'm not looking at anything. And I'm also remembering the episodes to the best of my knowledge. But Anshi brought Jinshi in to pretend to be the Emperor's younger brother, thus implying that he wasn't being raised by Anshi, he was brought in from somewhere else. So, is it the other way? As I said, if I'm not looking at my paragraphs of notes where I have, every time I go over this whole who is Jinshi really thing, I have to bring out all of my notes on the matter, because I have come up with such convoluted stuff that every time I am confronted with new information, it all just cascades in my head, and I forget which thing is a thing that I made up, or a thing I believe, or a thing that the show said. So I apologize if I look like a real fucking idiot right now, because I'm sure there are reactors out there who are like, oh, of course, this obviously means this, because A to B must mean C. And in my head, I am like, well, if you do 3 laps around the cul-de-sac and then you take a right on Main Street, you'll find yourself looking at the Sears Tower. But if you take a turn 180 degrees away and travel 5 miles down that way, I'm like, the guy on the side of the road giving you directions you'll never be able to follow. I apologize for clearly not being as smart as the people who made the show intended for you to be while watching it. Man, I've got the conspiracy board all over the place. I have notes scattered all around the room, and I'm still getting it wrong. Makes you feel bad. Makes me feel bad. Anyway, obviously there's not much else here because it's such an in-depth episode. Such an in-depth episode that it needs me to go over it again with notes so that I can get everything down, and then we can talk about it at length at the beginning of next episode. Which means that we now have to go into Maomao's notes and see what she has to talk about. The character who wasn't even here most of the episode. I have to imagine it's going to be Jinshi and Gaosheng talking. So let's go ahead and hop on in and see what we get from Maomao's notes. Okay, Gaosheng's notes.
ガオシュンの豆知識。権力者に仕える者には様々な因習がある。一度でも帝と夜を共にした者は高級から出ることは許されない。
We know that one already.
例外として政治的理由で女性を臣下に渡すことや報奨の代わりとして与えることも。だがその多くは権力者の娘に限られる。
I don't know how this applies unless we're talking about the daughter being given.
Maomao だけでなく、不審な下女や宦官、師匠まで行方知れず。おまけにローランまで
Should have let her poison herself. That would have been a solution. She wouldn't have gotten the information, no.
どうやって身元を隠して高級に忍び込んだんだ？
調査中です。
消えた宦官が触診をかいくぐっていたとすると、正体はおそらく女。
Also has a support network back here. Come on, Gaosheng, you know why he's doing it. Gaosheng, you know why he's doing it. Also, you're pretending to be eunuch too, don't... That's right, Gaosheng's pretending to be eunuch too. There's no high and mighty on this one. Sorry, shit, there was something I was thinking about in the middle of there, and then I got thrown off by Gaosheng going high and mighty for some reason. Oh, yeah, the old lady. The element is, you want her alive so she can answer the questions that might lead you to where Maomao is. you want her not to be alive because of what the implications of what she seems to know are, and you don't want her spreading that around. Because even if you like put her under guard, she could say it to the guard. Now you have to worry about the guard talking. It's like a pandemic level thing, right? Even if you know who the primary infector is, the moment that they touch somebody or they infect somebody else, now you have to worry about it like spreading in multiples. And information that you don't want to get out is the same way. It might have been better for you to let her poison herself than to let her live and possibly poison you in a different way. At the same time, I just don't know anybody else who has the information that she has. The implication that Lulan's entire consort doesn't know anything, I mean, that doesn't leave you with many clues. At the same time, that can't really be true. Well, I guess technically, if everyone there was hired for the one reason, there would be no head lady-in-waiting who would know everything. It would just be Shushi. Shushu. Shushi. Sorry, my brain just like stopped working in the middle of saying his name. But yeah, I guess her dad did everything. Or Ayla. There's still too much mystery here. Still too much mystery. And it might be because I'm recording this at 2 a.m. Sorry, just what happens. I have to do these things late to be... Word not coming to my head. Word's not coming to head. To be nice to everyone around me. Anyway, this might be it. I'm sorry, there's a lot to go over, but I don't think there's a lot that I can go over here. I think I need the notes. I need the time to put it to paper. I need time to think about it. Unfortunately, I know you gotta be pissed off at my rambling by now, because I either just keep saying the same stuff over and over again, and not even in creative ways, or I'm not touching on the thing that you think I should be touching on. Don't clip that. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for now. I'm hoping I'll record the next episode in the next couple of days. However, I might need time to think about this, so as soon as possible. So until then, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?